Welcome to the studio. I've been an art therapist for 46 years now and have loved almost every minute of it. On September 16, 1974, my first day as art therapy apprentice to Don Jones at Harding Hospital in Worthington, Ohio, Don asked if I'd brought along a sketchbook. In my arrogant naivete, I assumed he wanted me to take notes, and I said something to that effect. He chuckled and said, "No, Bruce, no. I want you to draw and write poetry." Well, I ended up working for 22 years at Harding Hospital, and along the way I wrote some books and then spent another 22 years in academia. Most of the clients I worked with over the years were people who'd been marginalized or disenfranchised, physically and sexually abused kids, mentally ill adults, traumatized, hurting people. They taught me about courage, righteous rage, and forgiveness, and I never forgot Don's instruction: write poetry, make art. I put in the clutch and shifted gears 2 years ago, and now I paint and write music and perform. I'm trying to make my life just one long art piece, trying to bring comfort to people in pain and afflict people who are too comfortable. I play music in bars and small concert venues 2 to 3 times a week, at least when COVID is not in effect. These places are used to hearing cover bands, but I'm not very interested in being a glorified jukebox in the corner. I guess I think that music should matter. So this presentation, 4 Lives, Welcome to the Studio, is about some people I met along the way. My intent is to honor the clients I've worked with, but I hope it honors folks that you have worked with too. So often the mentally ill or emotionally disturbed are disparaged in our society. I've seen so many movies and TV cop shows in which persons struggling with mental illness are rendered as monsters without a shred of humanity. I offer this as an antidote to such negative portrayals. This is really a love story, the story of 4 people. The setting is an art studio in a psychiatric hospital. Sara was an angry, hurt 15-year-old drifting through the turbulent currents of her life. She had a way of looking at you, you know, that special way that only adolescents can give, the sort of look that says it would be fine with her if you walked off a cliff. She wouldn't care. And John was a big guy, tough, sometimes smooth and charming, an alcoholic who had hit bottom and lost everything, a fire longing for fuel. And Lenore was 85 when I met her. Her husband had passed away a year or so earlier. Her friends were all gone. Her children and her grandchildren were busy with lives of their own. She was at the end of a life dedicated to others, and yet she found herself alone in the world. So this is the story of 4 people: Sara, John, Lenore, and me. It begins with a dream. I've had this dream before. I've had it many times before. There is a room and a girl standing in the doorway, but she will not come inside. And the walls are covered with paintings. It's always the same. I've had this dream before. Then I'm standing in a field and there is a line of people. Thousands of people, and one by one they walked by, little girls, little boys, old women, old men, beautiful, handsome, tall, short, thin, laughing, crying. Some smile, some scowl, some look straight ahead. This is a ritual. I shake their hands, I hug them, I kiss their cheeks, but they keep walking. And the line moves faster. People walk quickly by, people run. I try to shake, to hug, to kiss, but they move so fast I cannot keep up, and still they come. I'm standing in the dark. I'm standing in the field, in the dark, and the people walk by, and as each one passes, they carve their initials in my heart. There was a girl when I sailed in, looking for her home. She was adrift on a river, searching all alone. And she said if I only had an anchor or a board I could crawl into. But she says it so damn dryly, wonder is it true? She laughed when I talked about farming or living up in the woods. Shakes her head in a quiet way. She says, me I never could. And she sets herself for somewhere never been before. All she really wants is freedom, Lord, but she'll be sailing forevermore. I knew a man out on the desert. All he wants is just one drink, but the sand and the sun and the hoping makes him stop and think. And he says, if I only had a bottle of rum, or maybe just one glass of beer, I wouldn't mind all this walking. I can stand the heat out here. But he knows that there ain't no oasis within this life he leads. He shakes his head in a quiet way, and then he glances curved to see, and he spies one more desert mirage, walks out one time more. Just one little drink of freedom, Lord, but he'll be thirsty forevermore. I met a woman, lived in a city, made of concrete, steel, and glass. Don't you question her about how that feels. She pretends you did not ask, or she tells you all about the old days in some small Ohio town. Then she'll laugh in an empty, hollow way, saying, am I lost or am I found? But she knows that I don't have the answer. She knows I can't understand, 'cause I've never lived in no city made of concrete, steel, and sand. She went to work, she fought the traffic, come back home at 4. Remembers once when she thought she was free, and that thought just makes her sore. Myself, I work in the asylum, I keeper of some keys, and I talk with all my sad people there. Listen to their pleas, say it's all right, my friends. Who can say who's better off? There's crazy currents on the river, the desert gets pretty rough. The city, it ain't what it used to be. Nobody knows what it's about. And the only difference between you and me, you're inside and I'm out. Later when I'm all alone, sometimes I start to bleed. Ask myself this question: where does anybody really free? Is anybody really free? How does anybody really free? Sara came to the hospital after a serious suicide attempt, a character study of American punk, piercings, and gothic black. When she entered a room, waves of barely disguised rage swirled together with her apathy and despair, and oh, the things she would say. She had quite a vocabulary. But there was something about her, and so many other kids like her, some spark that reached deep inside and pulled at my heart. Her name was Sara, she's sweet 16. She ain't sweet if you know what I mean. She's tried everything at least once or twice. Her mama always wanted her to be nice, but she don't care. She just don't care. She started drinking when she was 12. Father Kelly says she's going to hell. She got pregnant in her 13th year, had an abortion, never shed a tear, 'cause she didn't care. You could say she likes the wild life. You could say she likes the wild life, but she won't care. She just don't care. 15th birthday she hit the road. Well, she was full 6 months, nobody knows. She got arrested out in Idaho. Suspended sentence, judge sent her home, but she didn't care. She did not care. She cuts her arms now and she takes pills. She says suicide would cure her ills. She's always bold, she says life ain't fair. She hates everything and she don't care, she just don't care. You could say she likes the wild life. Yeah, you could say she likes the wild life, but she don't care. She just don't care. Go ahead, ask her. She'll tell you. She says, I don't care. So that's how she was. An angry, hurt kid trying to survive. Needless to say, she was not the most pleasant person to be with. And she was not thrilled to be in the hospital, and believe me, she let everyone know about it. But still, in the art studio, magical things happened. Let me take you there. They bring Sara to the door, and I wonder how to start. she tells me she's bored. She says, fuck you and fuck art. And I say, welcome to the studio. Welcome to the studio. I ain't gonna do nothing. Just leave me alone. There's a haunted look of sadness in her eyes. Sarah's heart is made of stone. And I say, welcome to the studio. You're welcome to the studio. Sarah pretends to be sleeping. I talk to her sometimes, but mostly I keep painting colors, shapes, and lines. And I say, welcome to the studio. I'm working on this painting. It is of a field, and in the middle of the field there's a door, and the door is standing ajar, and there's a crumbling brick wall. Sarah looks up from where she's been pretending to be asleep, and she asks, so where does the door lead? I step away from the canvas. I don't know, but it's sort of scary though. She yawns. Then why are you painting it? Because I had to, I say. She rubs her eyes. What the hell does that mean? I just had to, Sarah. This door kept coming to my mind and it wouldn't go away. I decided the only way for it to leave me alone was if I painted it away. Sarah laughs. But it still bugs you. She laughs. But it still bugs you. Yes, it bothers me. But I paint it anyway. I paint it anyway. In the studio. Well, the next day, Sarah walks in and says, I'm tired of all this dumb shit I've been doing. I want to paint. I want to paint. Welcome to the studio. I will teach you to paint on one condition. I will teach you to paint on one condition. You have to stick with it. You cannot quit. Oh, and another thing, Sarah, you're going to have to trust me. She recoils. I don't trust anybody. I said, well, you're going to have to try. It's hard to learn how to paint. And if you don't trust me, it may be impossible. Well, I'm not going to trust you, and I'm not going to kiss your ass and tell you that I do. Oh, that's a very good sign, Sarah. Yes, that's a very good sign. Not lying to me, not kissing my ass. Relationships are built on honesty and trust. Relationships are built on honesty and trust. She grimaces. I don't want any relationships, and I don't trust you. Now, what am I going to paint? What am I going to paint? Oh, I tell her, you won't paint anything today. She shouts, but I want to paint today. Listen to me. I want to paint today. Well, right now you're going to use the saw to cut 2x2s and nail them together. And then you're going to stretch canvas, and then you're going to gesso. She screams at me, but I want to paint today. And I respond, well, you know the Rolling Stones say, well, you can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. Sarah walks in the next day. She waves a sketch in front of me. Says, this is what I want to paint. It's so deep. No, Sarah, I've thought about it. I want you to start by painting this vase. Oh, God, that's atrocious. It may be, but it's the subject of your first painting. She grumbles. She protests, then she snarls, where do I start? I ask, what color is your background? What color should your background be? Pure black. Then paint it black. Paint it black. Well, that's stupid. You just made me paint it white yesterday. Trust me, I say. Trust me. And welcome to the studio. Over the next few weeks, Sara worked, painted over, and reworked the painting of that ugly vase. All the while she stockpiled techniques. She learned to overlay, to wash, dry brush, and to highlight and shadow. Sometimes she'd throw down her brush and stomp off. But after a time, she always came back. She did not quit. The painting that emerged was subtly haunting, an image in black and white and mottled gray. It captured the lonely, stark sadness of her life. It was both simple and profound, an eloquent portrait of her life. In the months that followed, Sara made many paintings. We would argue now and then over technical details, sometimes engage in heated conflicts when she would accuse me of being too damn demanding, and I would ask her what she was avoiding. Through the months, we developed a genuine relationship that tolerated the whole range of feelings. In her last session, as she put the finishing touches on a painting that she called Saying Goodbye, I asked her what she'd learned while she was in therapy. Without looking up, without missing a beat, she said, "I learned to struggle." I chuckled. "Really?" She replied, "Trust me, Bruce. Trust me." In the studio. In the studio. In the studio. John, as I said earlier, was a big guy. He could fill up a room when he wanted to. He could be the life of the party when he wanted to. But there was another side to him, a smoldering, burning, not too subtle threat of something. Oh, he tried to keep this under wraps, cloaked in charm and laughter, quick with a joke, quick with a well-rehearsed line of denial and dismissal. He pretended. I will not feel. I will not feel because my father turned away. I will not feel because my mother told me not to. I will not feel because he hit her. I will not feel because he drank himself to death. I will not feel because I am a man. I will not feel because of Vietnam. I will not feel because I survived. I will not feel because others died. I will not feel because the dying and surviving was pointless. I will not feel because it does not matter. I will not feel because of what I see on TV. I will not feel because of what I see in my own house. I will not feel because my wife has turned away. I will not feel because my daughter will not look at me. I will not feel because all I needed was just one drink. I will not feel because if I started to feel, I might scream, I might howl, I might be silent. I don't want my son to see his father cry. If I started to cry, I might drown. I might be washed away. It might break my heart. I might be blown away. I might be torn apart. Life is good. Everything's okay. Everything's cool. Because I will not feel. I remember one day in the studio, Lenore called me over to her table. She looked at me and then at John and said, "He really is lost, isn't he? Reminds me of a little boy." He snarls, "So what do you want me to do?" I hand him a box of chalk and show him the paper that's hung on the walls. "I'd like you to draw a rock." "Why? Why should I draw a rock?" "Well, John, you seem to be a really strong and hard guy. Maybe if you draw a rock, it'll help me understand how you feel." "I ain't got no feelings, man, and I don't cry." "John, do you mean that you're numb or empty or dead?" "Huh? In order to have no feelings at all, you either have to be numb or empty or dead. Which are you?" He slams his fist against the wall. "I ain't none of that." "All right, John, let's back up. What kind of rock would you be?" "Cold." "Okay, I'd like for you to begin by using red and orange to cover the page and make it look like fire." "Why fire?" "Well, you seem to be pretty angry all the time, John, so I thought of fire when you said coal." "How do I start?" "We'll just cover the whole page with orange and then add yellow and red streaks over it." When he'd done so, I showed him how to use a cloth to blend the chalk across the page. "Damn, this is all right. Now, try to draw your piece of coal, color it black." When he finished, he said, "There ought to be some lines or something to show the edges of the coal, shape of this." I suggested that he use blue to indicate the edges and the surface of the coal. When he finished his drawing, Lenore and Sara gave him positive comments, and he seemed surprised and pleased by their praise. Now, it so happened that he was the last to leave the Creative Arts building that morning, and I was at the sink cleaning up. "You know, I never did anything like that before in my life." I looked up from the sink. "You did well, John. I like your drawing a lot." I wanted to ask you something." "Ask away." "I know this sounds stupid, but when I look at that thing, it makes you feel something?" "Yeah, isn't that screwy?" I dried my hands. "It happens all the time, John. Sometimes I think pictures know more about us than we do." "What in the hell does that mean?" "Never mind. I wonder, though, if that piece of coal had a voice, what would it say?" "Ah!" He feigned a tortured scream. "That doesn't sound angry, John." "It ain't angry. It's being burned up. That would hurt. That would hurt." Just another night in the same old bar, and I can't seem to find the door. Lost my taste 2 hours ago, so what I'm drinking, it don't matter anymore. We came here when times were good, we came as they were slipping away. Since you left with that other guy, got no reason to go, and so I stayed. Got no reason to go, and so I stayed. with the peanut shells, pretzels, and beer. Cigar smoke, memories, and years, and all the silly come-on lines between laughter and hard times. Ladies of mercy have left for the night. They're as happy as a neon in the window. Lonely men with money, they buy their love. It's good to know they won't be widows. With another glass in my hand, I wonder, I can't imagine the cost. Not in the paper or the silver coin, but in the currency of loss. In the currency of loss. And the peanut shells, pretzels, and beer, the cigar smoke, memories, and years, and all those silly come-on lines between laughter and hard times. My old blue jeans, they don't fit quite right. I guess they must have shrunk. Still in all, they shouldn't be this tight. Or maybe I'm just too drunk. 32, going on 33. Too young to quit, too old to start again. Now, don't you worry about me. See, I'm surrounded by my friends. I'm surrounded by my friends. By the peanut shells, pretzels, and beer, cigar smoke, memories, and years, all those silly come-on lines between laughter and hard times. By the peanut shells, pretzels, and beer, cigar smoke, memories, and years, all those silly come-on lines between laughter and hard times. Between laughter and hard times. Between laughter and hard times. Lenore could barely walk, and so she was brought to the art studio in a wheelchair. She was often too tired to do anything, and she'd say she'd prefer to watch. Sara and John seldom spoke to one another. They kept their distance, each in their own respective corner. Sometimes, in between, Lenore would sit in her wheelchair and smile at John's jokes or cringe at Sara's obscenities. She told me once that she thought I should wash Sara's mouth out with a bar of soap. I tried to get her to paint. I tried to get her to draw. I tried. Then one day, all on her own, she picked up a ball of modeling clay. She pushes a chair away from the table and looks at what she's made. Tears filled her tired eyes, but like her memories, they fade. Lenore, I said, this is nicely done. Oh, I don't know. I mean it, Lenore. It's a beautiful piece. No, it's nothing at all. She reaches out and touches it with her twisted arthritic hand. No, it's nothing at all. Reminds me of oysters, I said. She laughed and covered her mouth with her hand. What? You know the story of oysters? How pearls are made? No, she said. Well, you see, oysters get a piece of sand caught in their soft inner tissue and it hurts them. To ease their pain, they cover the sand with creative juice that makes it easier to tolerate. But then that gets hard too, and it hurts. And so the oyster covers it again and again, and this happens many times over until what is left is a pearl. So you see, the ugly, hurtful piece of sand is transformed by the creative juice. She wants to know, is that the truth? Is that the truth? And I said yes. I say yes. Well, the lady next door don't come out anymore. She's no use for the sun. She just pulls the curtain and hides all her hurting, and life, well, it isn't much fun in the springtime, all alone. Boy mows her yard and cleans up all the shards of flowers that once used to be. And she doesn't care as the neighbors all stare and whisper, yeah, that will be me in springtime, all alone. And it seems such a shame, but there's no one to blame. Her husband just lay down and died, leaving Bible prayers, flowers, and sad empty hours, memories of saying goodbye. Where the lady beside me, she doesn't trust me, we're just too far apart. She hides in her house with the dreams of her spouse, who long ago stole her young heart in springtime, all alone. And her shutters need paint, they look shabby, not quaint. Her windows are dirty and gray. She lights her own cigarette, trying not to forget that life wasn't always this way in the springtime, all alone. Where the ladies like Lenore Street, like everyone I meet, just have to be where they are. And hard as I try, well, I cannot deny that my time may not be that far. Some springtime up ahead, some springtime up ahead, some springtime. In the sanctuary of the studio, cries of confession, pleas for understanding, and prayers of thanksgiving are arted out in images of raging fires, burning coals, and crusted shells. Magical mirrors reflect truths, not of outward appearance, but of inner experience. This is life. This is life. Reminders that we are not so different, there before the grace of God go I. Reflections of wandering souls in search of 6 degrees of separation, rage and fear and desperation, hearts on fire, hearts of stone, the wild, the empty, and alone. 4 lives poured together, bound by love, art, and pain. Well, I've seen images of coal, pearls protected by a shell, bruised and battered, beaten souls, and I have walked in others' hell. Is there a point to this story? Are there secrets we can find in artifacts of imagination, the facts of four lives intertwined, the facts of four lives intertwined? 6 degrees of separation, rage and fear and desperation, hearts on fire, hearts of stone, the wild, the empty and alone, the wild, the empty and alone. Black and blue and red and brown, recalling slivers of our lives, unlikely angels intersect, hard and gentle jagged lines. They say water won't mix with oil, only heat will make it boil. That alcohol it might explode, this is the burden of our road. This is the burden of our road. 6 degrees of separation, rage and fear and desperation, hearts on fire, hearts of stone, the wild, the empty and alone, the wild, the empty and alone. What is the truth of these stories? What information pertains? 4 lives poured together, bound by love and art and pain. There were demons in the desert, there were dragons on the sea, there were cobwebs in the corner, Sara, John, Lenore and me. Sara, John, Lenore and me. 6 degrees of separation, rage and fear and desperation, hearts on fire, hearts of stone, the wild, the empty and alone, the wild, the empty and alone. 6 degrees of separation, rage and fear and desperation, hearts on fire, hearts of stone, the wild, the empty and alone, the wild, the empty and alone, the wild, the empty and alone, the wild, the empty and alone. The work we do as art therapists is seldom easy, but it's a good work. Truth be told, I never had a bad day as an art therapist. Oh, I had my share of run-ins with arrogant psychiatrists and other colleagues who just didn't get it. And I once had a dean who was a professional counselor who told me that if a client can't talk about an issue, they can't really be helped. But we know better. And I'm sure we all, from time to time, wonder if we're really making a difference in the world, but those times pass. We know better. I Got a letter the other day. Sara wrote to tell me she's okay. Said I still paint every now and then. Anytime I got the time to spend, I'm alright. Said I'm alright. And she added, oh, by the way, I'm getting married at the end of May. He's a nice guy, I think you'd approve. Trust me, Bruce, I told him all about you. I'm alright. Yeah, I'm alright. John is working at a grocery store. He tells me that he don't drink anymore. He said it ain't easy, my life is hard, but I won't live it in no dingy bar. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. He sees his kids every other week. Sometimes he's strong, and sometimes he's weak, but he's never numb, and to his surprise, some days he laughs, and some days he cries. He's okay. Yeah, he's okay. And Lenore, well, she up and died. I read about it, but I didn't cry. Her 5 kids had 23 of their own. Yeah, Lenore, she didn't die alone. She's alright. Guess she's alright. Here I am in the studio. All these people, they come and go. Some don't finish, and some don't start. Still their images are burned into my heart. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm thread in all I said of Sara, John, and Lenore. From the city to the sea, desert place in me, I will knock on every door. I see the rage on the page. I'll let me catch my breath. Not a thing to drink, so hard to think. I will paint the face of death. And though the road is often hard, paved with anger, tears and scars, no need to talk, let's just draw Sarah, John, and Lenore. So we stand here before the mirror. We will not look away. An image comes, we will not run. Give it form with paint and clay. And though the road is often hard, paved with anger, tears and scars, no need to talk, let's just draw Sarah, John, and Lenore. No need to talk, let's just draw Sarah, John, and Lenore. Sarah, John, and Lenore. Sarah, John, and Lenore. And now myself, I work in the asylum. I'm a keeper of some keys, and I talk with all my sad people there. I listen to their pleas, I say it's alright, my friends, who can say who's the better off? There's crazy currents on the river, the desert gets pretty rough, and the city, it ain't what it used to be. Nobody knows what it's about, and the only difference between you and me is you're inside and I'm out. Later when I'm all alone, sometimes I start to bleed. I ask myself this question, well, is anybody really free? Is anybody really free? Is anybody really free?